Holly, our guest, can you start off? 5 favorite games over the past 10 years. For reference, I think that goes all the way back to Ocarina of Time. 3D was released in like 2010 or 2011.
Really?
2000.
The Wii U released in 2012, so this covers all the way back to the very end
of the Wii days.
Yeah,
Skyward Sword was 2011.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love my Final Fantasies, so I'm gonna say I really like. I think
you have 13.2 in there. I think you can do that.
Well, I like 13.2. I actually really loved. I was gonna say 15 as well, even though the storyline was a little lacking. I really liked 15. I love Noctis, and I remember so long ago when the first preview came out
That was
for
like
it.
15 years ago.
Yeah, which it was like Final Fantasy 13 Versus. Yeah, like legit. It was so long ago. It was crazy. So it was really nice finally getting that game. And I played that fully with my fiance, me and JR. We played Final Fantasy 15 together, so that was really lovely. Had a good time playing that.
No, 13
that.
was 2009. That was crazy.
13 was 2009. Okay, so
that's insane. But they had, I'm sure they had like not remakes, but like remasters on other consoles. So
yeah,
you can still add
so 13 and 15 from Final Fantasy, Breath of the Wild for sure. Dang, I don't know what else. I really liked Horizon Zero Dawn, but I literally just finished that. So that just comes to mind simply because I literally just played it.
It was kind of a sad time because it released like a few weeks before Breath of the Wild released. Maybe it was just a week. And I'm like, this is basically Breath of the Wild, but for PlayStation.
Yeah, very similar, you know. It's really good though. I don't know what else.
Alright, you can think about that while
I will.
Daniel continues.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are we counting just games we played in the last 10 years, or do they have to have been released in the last 10 years? Because like, if there's a game, say, that was released,
if it was the first time that
you,
if it was the very first time that you played it, within the past, like, if,
sounds good.
Like Zombies Ate My Neighbors for the Super Nintendo. That is a real game.
That's not okay. Sounds bad, but
it
is. Let's
is.
say, for example, that was the first time I played it.
So like, if you played it when you was a kid, but you only played it once, and then you played it like sometime within the past few years, that doesn't count. If you've only played it once before. But if you had only like discovered it and played it recently, then I would say that counts.
Okay. Good. That changes my answer. But
okay.
I have my 5 then.
Okay.
This was no easy decision.
I'm sure.
So Breath of the Wild, obviously. Breath of the Wild, easy choice. So good. So much good. I just realized that actually, like, 3 of these were released in 2017, so that was a good year for gaming, I guess. But my not sure if it counts because of that release date thing. Super Metroid came out in the 90s, but the first time I played it was in 2015.
Wow.
And I was behind on the times, but I
wait, really?
Love that game.
2015?
2015 was the first time I played it. So people, I tell people when
explains
I
a lot.
praise that game, and people are like, "Oh, you're just nostalgia blind." I'm like, "No, I didn't play this game in the 90s when I was a kid." Like, yeah, no, it's just a legit super good game. So, yeah, it took me 21 years to play that game for the first time. So,
wow.
Yes, I was behind. Pikmin 3. I love Pikmin, but Pikmin 3 is the only one of the 3 Pikmin games that came out in this decade, because Pikmin doesn't exist, and but it's super good. Red Dead Redemption 2. I liked the first one, but Red Dead 2, oh my, it was so good. It was so good, and a lot of the things actually kind of link back to what Holly was saying earlier, but a lot of the missions or the side quests and stuff like that in that game, a lot of them do come down to like having different outcomes or based on the choices you make. and it's real good. It's a real good game. There's a few times where the controls are not, say, as smooth as other games, but the writing and the story and the presentation are all super phenomenal. The only thing is that Breath of the Wild I played first, and that game just spoils me with how its horses are, and then the horses in Red Dead are a little clunkier feeling, so
Clunky horses.
they just are. Yeah, exactly. They're not as bad. They're not as bad as like old games, but yeah. But yeah,
well,
Red Dead
even
2.
𝐿𝐴𝐽𝐽 made fun of how horses were in Twilight Princess.
Oh yeah.
When they were talking about the horses in Breath of the Wild, they were like, you would just try to get them to go somewhere and they wouldn't do that. So now, like, yeah, since users have no idea how to control the horses, they do it automatically.
But the horse in Breath of the Wild, like, if you come up to like a cliff's edge, the horse will see the cliff and stop. And then, of course, you know, real horses don't run into trees very often, right? So
yeah, I remember that.
And but then I'm playing Red Dead 2, and then like my horse trips on a rock, and I sent flying through the air. And I'm like, this wouldn't have happened in Breath of the Wild. So yeah, but it's still a super good game. Still goes in my top 5. And then the last one on my list here, again, this was a hard choice, but Hollow Knight is a super good game. It's like what appears to be a very small scale indie Metroidvania 2D game, but the sprawling world just keeps going. Like as you play, it just keeps going, and the map is actually huge in that game. And it's just a very well put together, interconnected world with a very implicit story that you don't really know what's going on at first. And as you unravel the world, you start learning about the history and everything really sort of gradually. And it's just a really aesthetically pleasing. The controls are super tight and perfect. The platforming is brutal, which I really like. And there's just so many really tough moments that it's just you get through it and you're like, yes, I beat that boss. He kicked my ass for like an hour straight, and now I got through it. So oops, I said a bad word. Sorry, Jesse, but
that's all good.
But it's so good. I love that game so much. And it's like my third most played Switch game aside from Breath of the Wild and Smash. So it's like this small indie game that was like $30, so bang for your buck, guys.
That's dope.
So that's my 5 games of the decade. They all came out like, other than Super Metroid. Oh no, actually no, they're all pretty spread out. Pikmin 3 is 2013. Super Metroid was the 90s. that's pretty spread out.
All right, Holly, do you have the rest of your list?
Yes. So, and I don't know why I totally like forgot, but Octopath Traveler. I was very, very into, still am. I love my like old school like 16-bit like turn-based RPGs. So, and I love Square Enix, obviously, right? Final Fantasy and whatnot. So I really loved Octopath. I thought it was lovely. The music was stunning. I liked how you could just like start with one of 8 characters and just play it several different ways. So that was really dope. Totally into that. I got it, but JR somehow took it over and wouldn't let me play it for a long time, so I had to like watch him play it, and then like I was trying to play it in my spare time. He has this weird thing with games like competing with me and stuff. Like he'll steal my video games and try to play them more than me. It's very weird. Yeah, it's very rude.
To hide it from him now.
Yeah, literally. And also, I'm gonna say Stardew Valley. Because I'm such a loser. I love my farming game.
No, I feel like if Kayla was on here, she would have Stardew Valley as well.
Yo, I grew up again. Like nostalgia is like a huge part for me. I loved like the old school Harvest Moons when they started going like 3D and all that kind of stuff. They were garbage, like super trash. So when Stardew Valley came out, I was like, ooh, yes. So it was a good time. I like games where I can just build houses and try to marry anyone. It's a good time.
Love it.
Yeah. So
I haven't played Stardew Valley, but everyone I've asked about it has had nothing but praises for it, actually. So
yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah.
It's so good. I've never played Animal Crossing, but people keep telling me, yeah, I will love Animal Crossing. So I'm like, oh no.
All right.
Yeah.
Was it 5?
Jesse,
5? Okay, so
Oh no.
Jesse's
Breath
gonna
of the
go
Wild.
mid Breath of the Wild. Nope, there
yes,
it is.
no. Skyward Sword,
Skyward Sword's pretty good.
Majora's Mask 3D.
This is all Zelda,
Wait,
isn't
I
it?
wanted to say Majora's Mask 3D. Okay, that's on my list too. I love. That's my favorite game of all time. So
Bonus.
Okay.
Bonus addition to your
I
list.
don't want to say Ocarina of Time 3D because I have the rest as Zelda, and I would rather experience. I think Majora's Mask is better suited than Ocarina of Time on a smaller thing. I would still love it to play on like a giant TV, but I feel that if you picked one of the two for a smaller screen, it would be Majora's Mask. Because like if you're taking it on the go, then you only have the 4 dungeons and like you can do the side quests and stuff, and that's a bit easier than doing like Ocarina of Time's one side quest that takes an hour. Well, no, I think there's other side quests in the game too. It's like, hey, do they count as side quests if like the girl's like, hey, take this egg to my dad to wake him up, but then you have to do it anyways?
That's not a side quest. That's part of the main quest. But I would say like there are still other side quests in Ocarina of Time, like
Find my
there's the
dog.
mask. Oh yeah, there's the mini games and the Find My Dog lady.
Yeah.
Who like you have pick up a dog that's like literally identical. Like that B word is not my dog. That's some filthy mutt. And you're like, it's literally the same polygons, but okay.
She did hate the dog.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I didn't remember if you could pick the dogs up or if they just followed you, because it got me so twisted after Breath of the Wild to where it's like you can't pick up the animals, you can't do the cats and stuff. And then with Breath of the Wild, like with Twilight Princess HD,
You just like pick up
it's
the dog.
yeah, like he cuddles the dog. He doesn't just pick
Yeah.
them up over his head. And then Wind Waker, you can pick them up over your head and stuff. And I'm like, could you do that in Ocarina of Time? Did the Nintendo
Side
64?
note?
Yes.
Someone pointed out on Twitter that in Twilight Princess, Link normally has like a very stoic expression, but when he's holding a dog, it turns into just like a slight smile, like just the slightest smile, and that detail that's all anyone needs to know right there.
Nice.
Link just smile while he holds puppy.
Alright, so I have those 3 Zelda games: Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild, Majora's Mask 3D. I really could make this all just 5 Zelda games with Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD.
Oh, nope. Okay.
But I'm going to say this next one may be super controversial.
Oh.
But I'm going to say, are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to prepare for the fire and the hate.
Oh no.
But I'm going to say Fortnite. Because the first time
We're not friends anymore.
the first time I played it, Cece was like, hey, I'm playing this game, you should play with me. And then I downloaded Fortnite and I was like, this sucks. Like, who would play this? Who would play this trash? And
My 13-year-old nephew mostly.
but that was like playing with them for like the first time. I had no idea what to do, and then I got in a few times by myself, and it was just more of the same. I was just like, I hate this. Like, why would you even play this? And then
Why
like,
is it on your list?
no. But then like a few months later, like because I went like months with it downloaded and not touching it, and a few months later, some of the Discord friends like. I don't know, there's so many of them, I just can't name them off. It's not that I can't remember who they are or anything, it's just there's so many. They were playing, and no, it was. I think honestly, it was. Who was it? I forgot who brought me in, but I remember I brought Kayla in, and then after that, it was like a way for not Kayla and I, but it was like Gibbs and Justin, and just like, it was. We literally made a roll because there were so many people.
Fam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was just so many people that we were playing with, and it was like just the best way for everyone to connect and talk with each other and have fun together. And half the time I was like, oh, I want to have like with Cliff was another one. I'm like, oh, I want to go hang out with Cliff. Obviously I can't fly to LA every time I want to hang out with Cliff. Like that would be awesome, but like I'm like, hey Cliff, when you're off work, I'll be at the airport. Come pick me up. No, so like I can't do that.
He would too. He's such a good dude.
Yeah. So like,
oh man,
I would just get on Fortnite and we would hang out and play for like an hour, and I'm like, oh, that was cool. I'm gonna go get something to eat now. But that was like my way of hanging out with people, so that's why I have it on there, and CC as well. So then the fifth one.
This one's gonna be ARMS, isn't it?
No.
That's what the chat's asking for, ARMS.
ARMS. They're like, I wish it was ARMS.
I forgot I had ARMS downloaded. Like that was one of the first games Nintendo sent me to review, and I'm like, are you sure?
Are you sure?
This is a mistake.
You don't want to send another one? Like
no.
You have better games.
Nintendo Switch has games
that are not ARMS. Anyways, so no, Nintendo Land would be good, but I did not have. If Nintendo Land had online, that would be it. But it would be Super Mario
Party. Maker.
Just from that, what does everybody in the chat think? Super Mario what?
Bros U Deluxe.
Bros U Deluxe.
Super.
Because there's a million things that could come after that.
Well, it's not Super Mario World, because I know you played that before this decade. Super Mario 3D World?
Yes.
I'm
Super
smart.
Mario 3D World. Because
that's a good one.
Because of the multiplayer.
The multiplayer's so good in that game.
Yeah.
It just needs online multiplayer.
Yes. If that's one of the games that they're hinting that they're bringing or teasing, rumored, whatever, because like they still have the 2 Wii U games that they're making, or at least 2. I say one is Twilight Princess because they already have it running on the hardware in China, but so that's why I say Twilight Princess. Like if it's literally already on the system if you're in China. But they just don't call it a Switch. They call it because like they have the weird video game law in China. For like so long, video games weren't allowed over there. That's why they made it such a big deal when they were like, we used to translate games in so many languages, and then Nintendo was like, and now we're adding one more, and it was like Chinese, and like most people were just like, so. But for a lot of people in Asia, and especially China, they're like, yay, because we can play games now.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Super Mario 3D World, because of the multiplayer. Like the game itself isn't necessarily better than any of the other games, but the multiplayer aspect in it was a lot of fun. Like playing it with whether it was like an ex or my little brother or a random person. Like you could just, if it was on the Switch, you could literally take the game out to like almost anyone and be like, hey, you know, play this game with me, and it would be like the most fun they had that day. And if it wasn't,
that's right,
you're allowed to smack them.
I would say that was with Overwatch for me. Like I really liked Overwatch.
Why was that not on your list?
It was good. Like I liked Overwatch, but I think like there were better games for me personally. But yeah,
you made us only choose 5, Jesse. That's
I'm sorry. Sorry.
I liked Overwatch for hanging with friends. And also, they had great, like, side stories. They had great, like, cinematics. And Blizzard is really good for their game. So I like going to BlizzCon. I like seeing the new cosplays. My friends also, I'm biased probably, because my friends, actually the guy who shot my Zelda video from my first Breath of the Wild Zelda that I did, his name's Jordan. He works for the company. He owns a company, and they do all the official cosplays for Blizzard. So I get to like see that and everything like that, and they live close to me and whatnot, so it's really fun. So I'm pretty involved in that. So I always get to see like epic cosplays and stuff. So and Overwatch has good character design, so I really like Overwatch. So Fortnite, not so much. Overwatch.
That's awesome.
Overwatch is good.
Were you one of the people that knew about Overwatch coming to Switch before it was announced?
No. I get to see some stuff, but the majority of the time, like everyone involved with that kind of stuff, they have to sign NDAs, right? If they know anything. So, yeah.
That's the smart answer.
Yeah.
Because like even if you did, they would still like even if you said yes, someone might get in trouble. Because like
Exactly.
I really do have people that message me all the time, like, hey, this is happening or this is happening, and I'm like, yeah, but I can't talk about that.
You're like, yes.
Like even if it is true, and then sometimes it turns out it is, and sometimes Daniel and I just make fun of it for like a month.
Speaking of things worth making fun of, is there any way to reject a super chat? Because Denny's up here saying, hey, Pikmin.
No, he says that's your favorite game, the 3DS Pikmin game.
That is rude.
So it's time to play the quiz, Triforce Trivia. Are you guys ready?
All right.
No.
All right, so Holly, the way this works, I asked...
Hey everyone, it's me again, 𝐓𝐼𝐬𝐢𝐳. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like and comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the Game Over Jessie channel, please consider purchasing a Game Over Jessie t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJessie, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJessie, and much, much more.